All right. So I feel like I finally got a decent build going for Itto. So I want to talk a little bit about it because I'll be honest, like this character is so much fun. But if you're playing Itto like me as a lower spender, you might be running into some of the same issues that I am. So let's just do a quick overview and talk about my Itto build. So my Arataki Itto is level 80 out of 90, mostly because I just don't want to spend all the Mora and all the experience books that it's going to take to get him to 90. I know he would be stronger, but trust me, he's plenty strong. Trust me when I say his damage is just fine. For his main stats, he's got about 20,000 HP, about 1,200 attack, and roughly 2,200 defense, rocking a crit damage ratio of 70-165. Now that ratio wouldn't be possible without running the Serpent Spine R5. So obviously R5 battle pass weapons are going to take a little bit, so a lot of people aren't going to have this, but it's not the hardest thing in the world to get. It just takes some time. So Serpent Spine R5, absolutely an insane weapon for him, but it has some issues and has some negative synergy with his kit, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But this weapon, as you know, provides a bunch of crit rate and provides a ton of extra damage for him, literally 50% extra damage when it's got 5 stacks of his perk. It's insane. It does so much damage for him. It is really, really good, and it looks pretty good with him. Like, I'm a big like aesthetic person, and I like how it looks with him. For his artifacts, we're running a 4-piece husk. None of the artifacts are too crazy. I'll kind of flip through them really quick just so you can kind of see. Some of the artifacts are decent. Some of the artifacts are like meh. I think my sands is kind of meh, but yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, everything is pretty solid. It's okay. Not my best crit damage piece. If I would have got more defense on that, that'd have been sick, or maybe some crit rate, that'd have been sick. But no matter what, I'm pretty happy with the build that I have with him so far. He of course is C0, and right now his talents are at 788 because unfortunately I don't have enough to level this up and I have to wait until Tuesday. So yeah, what are you gonna do? So let's start off with the positives about Itto, because Itto is a super fun character. He does a ton of damage, like a ridiculous amount of damage with his ult. His Royal Descent, Behold Itto the Evil, is crazy. He goes into the stance and just like just like charge attacks like crazy. It's a little bit of setup, but it is not hard to get the superlative super strength or whatever it is. Yeah, it's not hard to get the 5 stacks of that and then just go absolutely ape shit. I was literally struggling to find a boss in the open world that I could test this ult on without killing them before he got through his chain of attacks. I'm not even kidding. I literally had to go to like 4 bosses before I realized how much the downward slam was actually doing, because it was just too hard to find a boss that could live through them all. But that's a pretty good problem to have. Itto has become one of my strongest characters in the fastest time ever. He is every bit keeping up with my strongest DPSs in the game, which is awesome because he's new and he's dope and I love him. One of my other favorite things about Itto is just having Ushi on the field. Dude, Ushi is so great. I love him. He's just vibing. He's amazing. I love him. And when you kind of have everything set up and you're getting ready to like lead with an Ushi throw, bro, I've seen Ushi hit like 46,000. Like for an elemental skill that's on a 10-second cooldown, that is crazy. Yeah, his skill damage at level 8 is 492%, going up to 522% at level 9. This is bizarre. But yeah, it's great. It does a ton of damage. It's a taunt. It's amazing. Honestly, I want a triple crown Itto. I know a lot of people are saying that right now, but bro, like he feels like he's worth it. But now let's kind of talk about some of the things that aren't my favorite things about Itto. So Itto has like 3 main weapons that people are talking about using him with right now. He has the Serpent Spine, the White Blind, and his signature weapon, the Red Horn Stone Thresher, which if you watched my summoning video for that, you would know that I don't have it. But let's talk about each one of these options. So White Blind, not as easy to build around as the other 2 selections, but it is going to be a great free-to-play option. It's going to give you a decent amount of defense, and with its effect, the higher refinements that you have this thing at, it's going to start pumping out some really solid numbers. Like for a free-to-play weapon, this thing is amazing for Itto. It is going to take a little bit more building around because you are going to have a harder time getting that crit rate, crit damage ratio, just simply because you don't have one of the 2 on the weapon. But like I said, where it lacks in crit rate or crit damage, it makes up for in defense, which is always good. So White Blind's effect on hit, normal, and charge attacks increase attack and defense by 6% for 6 seconds, maximum of 4 stacks. That's at refinement rank 1. So maxed out at refinement rank 5, you're going to get 12% more defense on hit. So you literally hit him 4 times with the normal attack and then pop your ult and then just go to town all buffed up. Freaking sick. So White Blind, an amazing free-to-play option for Itto. Next, let's talk about Red Horn really quick. So the Red Horn Stone Thresher is absolutely Itto's like go-to weapon that if you have it is his absolute best in slot because it is like the easiest to use and is pretty much going to pump out the most damage. So it has 88.2% crit damage, which makes it super easy to build around because you can focus way more on crit rate, get your crit rate way up on your pieces. And its effect is defense is increased by 28%. So you're already getting some free defense, and its normal and charged attack damage is increased by 40% of your defense. So all in all, this is absolutely Itto's best in slot weapon, and I really wish I had it. But I think I'm gonna have to stop pulling on the weapon banner because I kind of want to eat this month. So Serpent's Spine, very similar to the White Blind, has a little bit of like a ramp up time, sorta. So for this one, every 4 seconds the character is on the field, they will deal, normally it's 5% more damage, but at Refinement Rank 5, it's 10% more damage. And they will take 2% more damage, which I don't remember what that was. I think it was like 4% or 6% or something. I don't know, it was more damage. But basically it'll stack up 5 times. If you take any damage, you will lose a stack. But what's nice is that you can swap off of Itto and not lose any of those stacks. The only time you'll lose stacks is when Itto takes damage. But this weapon is where the negative synergy kind of starts. So you're going to be constantly normal attacking in your rotation in some way, shape, or form. So this will be a normal part of you using Itto, is just doing normal attacks. But before the encounter starts, you can kind of stand there, wait for all these swords to start going around you. Once you have 5 swords, you know you have all stacks of the Serpent Spine ready to go, and you're going to be doing 50% more damage. 50. Now, to make sure that you don't lose any of those stacks, you're gonna need a shielder. So swap to your shielder, go ahead and drop a pillar, switch back to Arataki Itto, and you're good to go. But not for too long. If you don't have your burst, you're not gonna wanna stay on Itto too long. Because with the Husk of Opulent Dreams, as you stay on Itto without doing any sort of geo damage, you're slowly losing stacks. You're losing geo damage, you're losing defense. So to build that back up, you either have to use your burst and then do 4 normal attacks to build up the Superlative Super Strength and build up the stacks for the Husk set, and then start doing your charged attacks. Or you would have to swap off of Itto and only switch to him when he has his burst, which is absolutely what I recommend. Because trust me, there's so many moving parts with this that I basically end up just keeping him in the back until I'm like, oh, the cavalry's ready? Okay, go on in. He goes in there, kills whatever's there, and then I switch back to somebody else to let him take a nap. Don't get me wrong, it's not the worst thing in the world, but having to keep up with Serpent Spine stacks, Superlative Super Strength stacks, and the Husk of the Opulent Dream stacks, it's just kind of overwhelming. And granted, like I said, you can just literally keep him in the back and only throw him out when he has his ultimate, and you won't really notice this. And in practice, like when I'm actually using him, I don't really pay attention to it, but it's something that's kind of always on my mind, and it kind of drives me crazy. So with that being said, yes, absolutely. If you have Serpent Spine, it's an amazing weapon for Arataki Itto. Just know what you're getting yourself into. White Blind, you just attack 4 times and you go. Funny enough, it's actually a very similar thing for if you're going to be using Red Horn, because if you're C0, you still need to build up Superlative Super Strength stacks, which means you're going to have to do 4 normal attacks anyway. Or you throw out Ushi, you do 4 normal. It doesn't look, you need to get your stacks up. But with Serpent Spine, there is a little bit more moving parts. Now, I'm sorry if I spent too long on this, but it's something that I've been thinking a lot about. I really like this character. I just wish there wasn't so much upkeep. I wish I could just use him constantly. But the whole time I'm using him, I just see those stacks going down when he's not doing geo damage. And I'm like, great, now he's doing less damage. Great, now he's doing less damage. I don't know, man. It almost makes me want to run him on a set that isn't the Husk set, but that would just be silly. But no matter what, I have really been enjoying this character. I do want to show off his build a little bit because I have been having so much fun just annihilating bosses with him. It's just great. All right, so I'm going to show off Itto with the perpetual array thing or whatever. So the 3 main things if you're using Serpent Spine you need to know to like make sure you're doing the most damage possible. 1, always be doing geo damage if you have Arataki Itto out on the field. 2, never take damage with Arataki Itto. And 3, before you start any encounter, kind of wait around for a little bit for you to get all your stacks for Serpent Spine. And there you go. You'll be insane. So let me go ahead and build up some stacks here with Itto. So this is how you're going to do the most damage with him. So you're going to fill up your Serpent Spine. The Husk of Opulent Dreams is slowly dropping as we're sitting here doing this, but it's fine because it'll build back up as we like have him in the backfield for a few seconds. So now we've got all 5 stacks for our Serpent Spine. We have 5 swords floating around us. We're going to go ahead and switch to somebody else, let him build up the Husk stacks, and then just jump in and start doing damage. So like I said, we want to make sure when we switch to Itto that we're not getting hurt at all. So a good shield is always something nice to have around. So if you have Zhongli, I think Zhongli is one of his best supports. I mean, Zhongli is just one of the best supports in general, but he's absolutely Itto is one of Itto's best supports. He's crazy for Itto. So we're going to go ahead and put this. Let's do a little bit of that. Let's do a little bit of this. Let's go ahead and swap to Itto and just do some damage with Ushi. Yep. All right. So now this is the point where we start getting some real damage going. So we do this. We're going to go ahead and pop that. Boom. And then we're going to start having some attack boosts. Boom. There we go. Let's drop a Zhongli ult. Destroy that thing. And then now we get to go absolutely crazy. So here we go. Boom. You saw Ushi just did like 50k. And then, dude, Itto just starts going in. 36 a swing, 65 on the slam. Like, bro is cracked. He didn't crit that one, but it's fine because he does so much damage. It's nuts. I one-phased this thing earlier. We missed a couple crits that time, so it's fine, but oh my God. Another thing to point out that Itto does lose Husk of Opulent Dreams stacks in loading screens because technically he's still like out on the field. It's really annoying, but it is something to be aware of that if for some reason you're teleporting and you know that you're going to need to like start doing damage right away, you're not going to have all of your stacks. Not sure how relevant that information is, but just something to be aware of. All right, let's try this again, except for this time I'm going to do a little less talking. All right, let's drop this. Boom. Okay. All right, now we go boom, boom, and then go. And we're going. There we go. Let's do it. That's what we're talking about. 70k. Oh, dude, it's so good. And die. Almost missed it. But yeah, Arataki Itto is stupid fun. Like once you get like an actual setup going, obviously like, yeah, it takes a little bit of setup and he doesn't have much field time in the grand scheme of things. But when he is on the field, oh, he is a force to be reckoned with. Now, obviously leveling up his talents, his normal attack and his elemental burst is going to be probably the most important things. But I highly recommend leveling up Ushi. Ushi does a surprising amount of damage. It doesn't have to be a priority. It does have like innate qualities. It is a taunt, so if you just wanted to use it for that and getting some free superlative super strength, you absolutely can. But I'm not kidding, this thing does a ton of damage. Ushi is probably my new favorite Genshin Pokemon. But yeah, there you go. There's Itto. And dude, I honestly love this character. I've been having a ton of fun playing with him. We did talk about some of the downsides about Serpent Spine, but really it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It just kind of feels backwards that like a main DPS has to spend most of his time off field to be effective. It just kind of feels backwards. But no matter what, it's a different way to play. He is super fun. And like you guys saw, he does a ton of damage. So with all that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, please drop a like down below. Comment down below, what are your Itto builds looking like? I still kind of wish that I got Red Horn, and I'm still tempted to go for it, but I don't know. We'll see. Subscribe if you guys are new around here. And before we go, a big shout out to the members of the channel. Thank you so much for helping make these videos possible. I love you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Oh God, now I gotta level up Goro.